if you watch those guys on film, I'll tell you one thing that stands out is they have got a running back, and the guy is phenomenal. He leads that team. I think he rushed for 1,500 yards last year, and if you watch him against Oklahoma, he is competing to the very end. This guy, you can tell he plays very hard, he's very intense, and he is one great pass protector. He's cutting guys down right and left all over the field. He's a guy that if you let him, he'll get some momentum, and he will put that team on his back. It'll be a great challenge. We're excited about the game this weekend, though, renewing this series. I think it's great for both schools. I think it's great for the state. I think it creates a little interest for both programs. Anytime two in-state schools play and go against each other year in, year out. So I think it's good for football, good for the state of Louisiana.
Obviously, to get one game underneath our belt is big, and for that to be a win is even better. That first game is there's always some anxieties for coaches because you're still have some questions about how some of your young players are going to perform, if they're going to handle the pressures of being a Division I-A player and being out in front of that crowd and all those other things. And there's obviously an awful lot of lead up to a first ball game. And now we get back into a flow, and so I'm excited about how some of those young players played. Also a little bit reticent about sticking a few back in the ball game based off how they played, although I know that they will play a little bit better this next week in relation to them just being more calmed down. And we did play an awful lot of players in that ball game, which I was excited about. That was kind of one of the things that we set out to do to begin with. Excited the fact that obviously we beat a Power 5 school, and I think there were 20 of those matchups somewhere in that neighborhood. Power 5 versus the Group of 5 this past weekend. I think there were 3 of us that won against a Power 5 school. And I think if memory serves me correctly, I think we were the only one that had that game at home. And so that was really big in relation to trying to get a Power 5 conference school at our place. And so I think it was a win-win for us. And now we're anxious to move on to an Idaho team that obviously we don't really know that much about. It's very similar to what we played, I think, this last week in relation to the fact that you've got a staff that's been there for a year. They're obviously going to be better just because the players understand the systems better. But with the influx of junior college players and junior college players that I'm sure fit their systems better, then I'm sure we're going to see some changes structurally on offense and defense.
We're very excited, having our first game under our belt with a victory, and extremely excited to play New Mexico State this weekend on a Saturday at 2:05, and really looking forward to getting back on the field and correcting some of the mistakes we made and getting a chance to compete against our first Sun Belt opponent. So just a bounce in there. I mean, there's a little bit more pep in their step. I think that natural when you win, but we had a pep in our step before the game, so it always reinforces and helps and keeps you going in the right direction when you win. It's especially getting the huge monkey off your back of not winning for a whole season. So obviously they're bouncing around a little bit more excited, I would assume, but they were like that before the game. So I think we just because of winning, you kept it going.
I was just telling Jerry, it's honestly it's a blur. I don't I'm not sure exactly what all happened. I think we won a game, and it's been a long time coming, but I thought the kids played hard, and especially early defense just kept us in it, and with the game being as close, a lot closer than we wanted it to be for a lot longer than we wanted it to be. Obviously Montana State's a pretty good football team, but it stayed close, and I was probably most pleased with how the guys responded. They just never flinched, just continued to go to work and stayed positive and found a way to make some plays to kind of get us out in front. But it was a great night. It's an amazing night. Dream come true for me. I mean, it's been a long time, and that couldn't happen any better for us.
The speed of the game was a little bit different for our guys. They had to acclimate to the speed that Cal Poly runs that flex bone with. But the second half, I thought we really made some nice adjustments defensively, and our players caught up to the speed of it. And to shut them out for the entire second half, that hadn't been done around here in a long time. You know, we're not going to be a heavy pass team or a heavy run team. We've got to be a very balanced team, and we've got to get the ball in the hands of playmakers like Larry, Greg Hogan, Teldrick Morgan. I thought Tyler did a nice job of moving the ball around. We've got to be a little bit more consistent on offense, but pleased with the way we started.
Well, I think we need to at least address the last one, but certainly a disappointing loss, one in which proved out that we got a lot of work to do at a lot of positions, and you know, we thought we maybe had a chance to win this game, and certainly it didn't turn out that way. But the performances in some areas, you know, with our offense and our defense and our special teams did perform pretty well, I thought, and against UAB. We did miss one field goal, but everything else was pretty good. Good enough to have a chance if we'd have executed well in other areas of the game.
That is a positive too. I mean, the way we were able to run the football against, I think, a very good defense. I think Upshaw, for his first college football game, played exceptionally well with the ball in his hands. He's got to get better with the ball, you know, when his ball's not in his hands. But he ran hard. He had some good runs. I think Marcus came back, you know, and he's battled a little bit of an injury and came back and played well, and he came out of the game feeling great. So that's a great 1-2 punch. We feel very confident with both of those guys in the football game. So we're certainly going to lean on them, and I think our offensive line feeds off of them, how hard they run. Well, I think for us, we got to get better as a football team. The things that we got to work on, the execution part is huge for us. We got to make a great leap from that first game to the second game. And we obviously have a lot of room to get better in, and so that's what we're focusing on. We feel like if we do what our job is and we're playing the way we're supposed to play, then the wins will take care of itself. But we're focusing on getting better each and every day and with the execution.